Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Max anywhere. From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, podcasting and streaming around the globe. Just ahead, Ben Miller brings us the car show inside the car show.
What?
We talk more Jeff. We need more Jeff.
We do need
brings
more.
info on Hyundai Hydrogen. And Conrad has a look at the upcoming racing events just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, deep in thought down at the other end of the dais. King Conrad DeLong. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Something. Deep in something.
Deep in.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we know.
You got to explain it 3 times.
Well, you need to turn your microphone on down there.
Deep in mute.
Deep in mute. King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zeke, and I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on our live broadcast every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. What?
No, he's just complimenting Mike on his little switcher there, and he's all over it.
I sure am glad you're not over here. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Because Donna reached
It's a reason I'm this far away.
Yeah. God.
No, I think it's a great idea. We should all have one.
Ben Miller is the CEO of the Houston AutoBoative Show's Classic Car Corral. Did you like that title, Ben?
That'll work. That's not what my card says, but that's fine.
Well, I know, so you're going to have to get them reprinted. Jeff can do that for you. We'll make that happen.
We'll get her done.
How have you been? I haven't talked to you in a year.
I've been good. You know, I'm a little cold right now with this weather. I'm not built for this. So
well, neither is anybody else.
None of us are.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you back in cahoots with the Houston AutoBoative Show that's coming our way this Wednesday. It opens. And so has move-in already started, or are you waiting in the flanks to get out there?
No, we're still waiting. Move-in isn't going to take place until Monday for the auto show side. I mean, they're still getting the displays ready and everything, and I'm going to go down there tomorrow just to see what they have put up already. But Wyatt and the rest of the team have already, been down there and watching everything. But I won't bring my cars in until Monday and Tuesday.
So when you bring your cars in, are they predominantly trailered in, or do people drive them in?
Well, the people that have trailers, they'll trailer them in, and then the rest of them will drive them, and that's the only thing that's what I have to worry about. The new cars, they're there. They can be wiped down and everything. The classic cars, if someone's driving them, if it's
somebody's got to
raining,
clean them.
Well, I will tell you this from my own experience, and I've experienced this multiple times back in the day when I was actually showing the 77 Corvette that was built to show. And when it rains and you don't have a trailer, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. You just better have lots of rags and plan on lots of time to get underneath the hood, underneath the car, and clean it all over again. My suggestion is go rent an enclosed trailer and put your car in the enclosed trailer, or have somebody that has an enclosed trailer to trailer it down there. Because think, you're still going to probably have to get it wet going from the outside to the inside, even though it's in a trailer.
If it's raining.
It's supposed to rain. It's a 100% chance of rain Monday, Tuesday, and almost Wednesday.
Is it cost effective to rent the trailer price versus hiring a couple of people to actually do the wipe down?
Listen, when you're into classic cars like Ben is,
I'm just trying to be cost effective.
Don't touch my car.
Well,
it's all mine. I'll deal with it.
You don't want to hire somebody to clean the car because they'll never do it right.
Well, you can at least get started.
Yeah.
You can go behind them.
The other thing is, you could put it on a rollback, and at least maybe some of the rain will just blow off of
that
it.
is a pure fantasy. That's
a hope and a dream
That is a total lie, because I've been there, done that too. Trailered on an open trailer. But actually, it was
From here to Oklahoma.
From here to Oklahoma
In the snow.
And it made no difference. I could have driven it and it gotten the same damage with all of the ice and the snow and the smuck off the roadway. It was awful.
I figured out real quick.
I showed it Autorama 10 years straight, and so that was one of the things. My dad, we bought an enclosed car hauler, and it was a really good idea for whenever we were showing, because it didn't matter if it was raining or not. We were taking the car, Yeah. So.
But you could do so much more ahead of time, prep-wise, like you say, cleaning and stuff, and then putting it in there, and not worry too much about it when you get there.
Well, I think if worse came to worse, I'd be on the phone today, and I'd be on the line with Allied Auto Movers or whoever it is,
or whoever.
somebody, and say, I've got a dozen guys that would really like for you to we'll stop by your neighborhood, pick up your car, and, it's going to cost you $500. It's worth it. Even if it's $1,000, it's worth it. Trust me. Don't you agree, Ben?
I do.
Exactly. Okay,
so what kind of prime iron can we expect you to bring in this year?
Well, as long as everyone shows up, I've got some really good cars. I've got one I'm real excited about, and I actually know the car. I've got a 70 Hemi Roadrunner that's vitamin C orange, and it's all it's restored back to original. It's a real nice car. I've got kind of a mix again. There's again, I don't want to tell you all the stuff, because then I'll be giving everything away. But there is a guy, I met him actually at the Topwater show.
Yeah.
Y'all were out there.
Right.
Yep.
He didn't show his car. He just kind of drove in and parked it, and then he left. Well, I caught him before he left. He has a 1937 Packard. It's a
piece.
hot rod.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful car. But I've got Mustangs. I've got a pretty good selection of trucks again this year. So it'll be a good mix.
Did you go to Houston Autorama?
Yes, sir.
Did you see, what was it, a 70 Chevy C10 or whatever it was, that it even had plastic on the seats? It was so well done.
Over there by the restrooms.
It was in the truck corral.
Yeah.
It was spectacular.
But it definitely looked like it was just a showroom piece they took and covered and stored and brought back out for Autorama. It still had all of the tags and plastics on it from the manufacturer, the pre-production stuff.
I don't remember that.
You just need to stick with us more often. That's all.
That's right.
I'll just go walk the show with y'all whenever I'm up there.
That's it. Yeah.
But you do have somebody. Didn't you talk to somebody there at Autorama, a truck that's coming that you talked to?
Let's see.
One of the guys.
Yes, I do. I do have one guy that he's shown with me before. He's going to bring a 72 C10 step side. He showed there, and then there was a couple that was supposed to show with me, but they didn't get back with me in enough time. So I'm going to try and put them in for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't repeat very often, do you?
I try not to. I mean, unless if the car is really rare or something that people really want to see, then I'll repeat them. But I like seeing different stuff every year. I don't think it's good to put the same thing in every year. Right, you will see a few every now and then. Like there's a few this year that may have been in a few years ago, but there's usually a reason why. So,
yeah. Well, that's one of the cool things, I think, is because you can, regardless of what you like, generally you've got something different,
new, fresh.
Yeah, fresh, or you may, like you say, you may have seen it 10 years ago, but generally that time frame, everybody's made a lot of changes in their cars. They've done updates, new paint, something.
I have to tell you that one of the things that this was several years ago, and it was in Ben's display, and it was out in the lobby out there, and it was a spectacular, original looking, it had been restored, 57 Chevrolet. Nothing too crazy about that. However, it had this little glass thing that was on the dashboard that I had never seen before in my life, had absolutely no clue what it was, and it took me a while to find out what it was. And because of the overhang of the roofline, and back then, a lot of the traffic signals were hung from the middle of the intersection. So you'd pull up to the intersection, the light would be red, and you would either have to lean forward and look up to be able to see the light, or use this little glass thing. We'll call it a magic mirror, but it wasn't a mirror. It was an optical thing that actually enhanced the light, the signal, the traffic signal above, and you could see the red, the yellow, and the green through this deal.
It reflected, yeah.
Yeah. It was an optical thing, and it had little ridges. It had little ridges in it, and therefore you could see. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ben?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I had never seen it before. I had no clue what it was, but it was an option on a 57 Chevrolet. Now, I don't know whether it was dealer installed or factory installed. It doesn't make any difference.
Cool.
It was very cool and very unique. And those are the kind of things in some of the cars that you have out there that make you go, I've seen a million 57 Chevrolets, but I've never seen that. Anyway, it was just
even on Mustangs. I mean, there's stuff that would have been you could buy from the dealer over the counter and stuff. And one of them, it's you don't really think about it, but where the glove box is, they actually had a tissue dispenser you could buy. So
I remember that. Yeah,
put that and you could just pull tissue. There's some pretty cool stuff out there.
Yeah, very unique things. It's always fun to go and discover new things at the car show like this.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago you had I want to say it was another 57 Chevy, but it was, if I remember correctly, it was built on a 58 chassis, because I looked at it and I'm like, something's odd about this car. And it was the windshield and the way the windshield wrapped around that wasn't 57 Chevy. And then kind of I read the notes on it, and it was
it a hard top or a convertible?
I think it was a hard top.
Okay, so I had a black and white one that's called the Black Widow, and then there was another car, and I'm going to try and bring it back here maybe next year or after that, but there's actually a guy that has I'm trying to think of what they call that car, but it's a Boyd Coddington car, and it's a roadster, so there's it's a 57 convertible that's wider, and it's been
I thought
almost looks stretched.
I thought it was real unique that it's 57, but it's not, and you really had to understand what it was. And I don't remember if it was the Coddington car or not, but it really caught my eye as a cool build.
Yeah.
Well, the Black Widow was done the same way. It was, and I think the builder, his name was Poteet, I think, something like that. But he did the same thing. He chopped the roof, and it was a little wider. So whenever you put both of them side by side, you could tell clearly. But if you just looked at it, you'd say, well, that looks different, or that looks, right. And you pick up on things. So.
Well, and from my perspective at this show, the cars that you bring, they are unique in their own right, whether they're factory originals, whether they're resto mods, complete redo, whatever the case may be. In my world, you take pieces and put all of these little pieces together in your own mind, and somehow that sticks in there, and you think, I saw that at a car show, like that little magic glass that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And you're thinking how unique that is. And some of that stuff you can bring into your own build or car that you have.
To make it unique.
Yeah. Wheels are another thing. I mean, they're
bazillion wheels out there, yeah.
Period correct wheels, and those aftermarket wheels that you go, man, I haven't seen that before. I really like those. And those are the kind of takeaways with the cars that you have.
Well, and then for you to find a Coddington car, I'm surprised at how many of those not necessarily just Coddington, but Coddington or even the Barris cars are actually in the Houston market. That old Tornado that showed up again this year at
Topwater.
At Topwater, the Barris car that was built for the Canadian Oil Company. I remember seeing that again. And, just for the fact that those types of cars are collected and stored here in Houston is pretty cool. And then, of course, then Ben's got all the connections to find all of them.
Do you ever have any rat rods? Do you ever bring a rat rod to the Houston Auto Show?
I've had some, and I don't have any this year, but I have had some, and I'm not partial to one thing or the other. I think I told y'all I'm a big Mustang guy, or I've been around a lot of them, and so everyone kind of thought, oh, he's a Ford guy. He's just gonna bring a whole bunch of Fords in here, But I'm not like that. I do have different cars from different makes and models that I enjoy.
In different eras too.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's like me. I'm a Chevy Corvette guy, but I'd be bored to death if I went to an all Corvette show. I want to see it. Yeah, all the time. Don't get me wrong. There are places for Corvette shows, and I appreciate them. But in a show like this, where you're appealing to the masses, I want to see variety. And that's what Ben brings to the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll give you a challenge, Ben. Get one of those cars out of the Permian Basin Oil Museum, one of the chaparrals, and bring one of those chaparrals down here one year, because I'm sure that'd be a real attraction for people to come out and see.
I was thinking more along the lines of a gasoline delivery 18-wheeler, if you want to call it that, from the 1940s or 50s.
The Art Deco look?
Yeah. I saw one that was completely restored just recently. I'm going, wow, that was a Tonka kit back when I was a kid.
Or
Love those.
A good customized tuk-tuk.
A tuk-tuk.
Was it like a tanker truck?
Yeah, it was a tanker truck, and it was blue and white. And it had the tractor on the front and the 18-wheeler tank in the back. And
so there's something that my dad and we kick ourselves all the time. This has probably been, probably 10 years ago. The lake auctions used to be at NRG for a little while. And so we went, and it was kind of early in the day. And so we got there, and that's right around the time John O'Quinn, his cars, some of those cars were coming out, and they were selling them.
Yep.
And so they had a Rio Shell tanker truck that they were selling, and the thing looked brand new. Whoever restored it did a great job. And so we got there, and we said, oh, well, that thing's going to go for $40,000 or, whatever. It ended up selling for, I think, 12 or 14, and we didn't have a bidder's pass because we just got there, and so my dad and we always kick ourselves. We don't know what we do with a tanker truck.
Where would you store really something like that?
It don't matter.
But how cool
you find
would it
a
be
place
own,
for it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, it's great to talk to you, and we look forward to your display this year. And it is the Classic Car Collection that Ben always brings to the Houston AutoBoative Show. And I encourage you, even though you're going to go to see all the new cars, I invite you to take the time to look at the collection. Now, is it just in the lobby, or do you also have a booth inside?
It's going to depend on what happens Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to try and put some in the lobby, but if I don't put any in the lobby, or if I put very few, all the rest of them will be in Hall A.
Okay, very good. And to let everybody know that Houston AutoBoative Show opens Wednesday, and the hours Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are 11 to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 10 to 6, and it's the new car show along with the Houston Boat Show together at NRG Center. Ben, thanks so much for joining us, my friend. We'll see you out there.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the race card here on In Wheel Time, and Conrad has
Today's day one, the roar before the 24, so it's kind of the testing week for the 24 Hours of Daytona is started Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they'll do the GTP cars, and Jeff's a fan of the GTP cars because that's where the Cadillacs dominated for the years. And, Corvette kind of went away as a factory program, but they're still there with some customer cars.
Yeah, independence.
And then next weekend is a 24 Hours of Daytona. Following that is going to be NHRA Gator Nationals open up on March 10th.
All right.
March 24th, the Winter Nationals at Pomona. On the 4th of February is the Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. Excuse me. The Daytona Twin 125 qualifiers is on February 11th, and then February 18th is the Daytona 500, and then the whole run of NASCAR events until March 24th is when NASCAR comes back to Circuit of the Americas in Austin.
And hopefully it doesn't rain.
Again. And then Formula One begins on March 3rd in Bahrain, March 10th in Saudi Arabia, and March 24th in Australia. And I haven't heard what's the latest with Andretti. Has that progressed?
They're getting closer to becoming a team. There's more scuttlebutt and infighting with Toto and Mercedes and who's going to run it rather than just Andretti coming on board.
Yeah, who has a bigger diaper?
Well, no, there's infighting with the organization, not just Andretti. So that's all been the news. Andretti's a separate entity of that, but he's going to move forward with it.
You think they're going to come in as a separate team, or you think they're going to buy an existing? Because
they'll come in as existing. They'll come in as existing, but the others, now that they find out that Andretti has this momentum, they're wanting to ride those coattails.
Yeah,
and you got Alpine as an engine builder. You got Cadillac as a allegedly coming up with an engine building process later on. But it's going to be a couple more years, but he'll get it. I'm confident he will.
I wish them luck. And then IndyCar starts March 10th at St. Petersburg.
So lots coming up. And by the way, I saw a thing on NHRA that NHRA is going to start a nostalgia drag racing program, and they're going to have like 6 events. I think that I'm not exactly, the closest one to us is a distance away. They're going to start out at Famoso Dragway out there in California, and it's cars from the 60s and 70s.
And Famoso's been quite well known for doing the nostalgic drags through the years.
Well, it's going to be a real program, and they're going to actually televise it, and it's going to be really cool. And boy, I sure would like to be there for that.
Cackle.
And I think Ron Capps owns or drives one of those nostalgic funny cars from back in the day.
I'm sure they all have a little finger in it somewhere.
John Forrest drove them originally back in the 70s too, so I imagine he's got a couple of toys.
Okay, time now for Jeff's feature, and today Jeff's going to talk about Hyundai and hydrogen.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, where's the hydrogen station?
Well, we're going to figure that out once we get one.
Okay, yeah, that's it, one.
So you're probably asking yourself what's going on with this. Well, hydrogen, it is the lightest element of the most abundant chemical substance in the universe. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless, tasteless, flammable gas that is the simplest member of the family of chemical elements. Now, all you chemists out there know this. I'm just trying to be part of it. Hyundai is going all in on hydrogen-powered cars following trials of vehicles in Australia as it aims to be carbon neutral by 2050 and find new adventures of commercial revenue. Now, during this presentation at the CES show in Vegas, this was last Monday, or a week ago Monday, the South Korean automotive giant announced that hydrogen energy will play a prominent role in achieving those objectives. So they've got a lot of long-term stuff going on. Hyundai said it will continue to find ways to add to passenger cars, trucks, buses. This will include trams or monorails, special equipment, vessels, power generators, and advanced air mobility, which I'm thinking is probably drones. They're all going to be powered by hydrogen at one point in time. Some already are. Hyundai also said that hydrogen as a fuel source makes more sense for SUVs for long-distance travel over the electrical vehicles that they're now making because of range and power. I'm not so sure about the power. Range, yes. Power, maybe. I don't know. You got to convince me. A major part of the Vegas presentation included commercialization of green hydrogen, Michael, as both a source of income and a way to reach zero carbon emissions. You're asking yourself how they do it. Okay. Well,
How do they do that?
it's created by splitting water using a process called electrolysis, producing only hydrogen and oxygen.
I thought Don just did that to get rid of unwanted hair.
All right. According to the Department of Energy in Australia, we're back to international stuff again, they announced $127 billion worth of hydrogen investment in Australia. Hyundai said it's the world's largest market share in hydrogen-powered vehicles and is at the forefront of the hydrogen momentum. But the biggest issues facing adoption of the technology is being able to publicly fill and charge the vehicles, Don.
Safely.
Well, period. Safely or not, they just don't have the infrastructure yet. Another challenge for this adaptation is storing hydrogen. It's a challenge. The amount of energy generated is generally low, but compared to fossil fuels and the electricity, they've got to get their act together on that. But Hyundai is hoping that the investment into different sources with clean energy will make sense both economically and ethically. So Hyundai also stated that it's the only advocate of clean hydrogen. The United States published recently a strategy and a roadmap for accelerating the production, process, delivery, storage, and clean use of hydrogen to accelerate commercialization of hydrogen. Good luck on that. Check your EV listings now.
Explosions are us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, rear end collision with a storage tank in the trunk,
And all of a sudden the tank comes loose and it's playing pachinko going down the highway.
And that's our last shot right there.
Yeah, you just think a Pinto exploded.
Yeah, the last use of hydrogen power.
Hindenburg, they tried to refuel that. It turns out it was an EV station and not a hydrogen.
Yeah, plugged it into the wrong thing.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I think I'll just stick with gasoline until I'm no longer on the face of the earth.
Yeah, because gasoline won't catch fire.
They're trying to figure out more ways to be clean energy, the green hydrocarbons, and you saw that big debacle overseas where they had all the green people over there.
Davos.
But that was part of the talk of the green hydrogen. So
yeah, trying to force things on us we don't want.
well, that's part
Or need. It works just fine the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go spend.
That they want us to have, but they won't use themselves.
But the technology's there. I mean, at least they're going forward and looking at different ways. I mean, that's the whole process.
There's been some other dabbling in hydrogen-powered vehicles as well. I know GM had a series of Chevy Equinoxes that ran around the Washington D.C. area. That were
Forklifts,
hydrogen-powered.
buses are running around. There's buses in Houston that are hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
You got forklifts. You've got some commercial things going.
Well, I was going to say commercially, I could see where it would be much more feasible, especially delivery vehicles and that sort of stuff, where they got to go back to
the central fueling station.
Right, exactly.
And that's the other part of it. Where are you going to get it?
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Rev your engines and set sail for the ultimate surf and turf. The Houston AutoBoative Show, January 24th through the 28th at NRG Center. One ticket gets you into both the auto show and the boat show. See your favorite car and boat brands under one roof. Learn about the latest electric vehicles and test drive one with Evolve Houston. Board your dream boat and check out the bass fishing demos. It's the Houston AutoBoative Show, January 24th through the 28th. Buy early and save at autoboativeshow.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.